Hello guys, welcome to another video. COTExTENSURA, new, by Sponge_Bob. Chapter 40 Sarian and Ryuan Rimuru Pav. After telling them all to follow me, we are currently seated. I chose this garden area for this meeting, as it is quite spacious compared to the meeting hall in the main building, and the view is also astonishing. Arisu, Benimaru, Geld, Hakuro, Rigard and others are on my left side. Whereas Gazel, this Duke, Koenji and some others are on right side. Honami and Shuna are behind me on both sides. These beastmen are also here from Carrion Nation as per se. Shuna take the initiative and announce everyone. Now that everyone here, let me introduce them. From the armed Dwargon Nation, His Majesty, King Gazel Sama. From the Beast Kingdom Eurazania, the leader of the three beastmen, Albus Sama. From Blumend Kingdom, Grandsmater Fuse Sama. From the Sorcerer Dynasty Sarian, Archduke Elalud Grimwald Sama. And lastly, King of Tempest and ruler of Jura Forest, Demon Lord Rimuru Tempest Sama, she stated. She then backed away after that, and I then take a look at this Duke, before discussing things further. So, Duke Elalud, what are you really here for? I asked. I am merely here to see this so-called Demon Lord. Which is you, by the way. I want to judge you firsthand before making any decision, he said. And your decision? Asked Arisu. Rimuru, who is she? Asked Gazel. Fufufu, let me introduce myself. I am Sakayanagi Arisu, military commander of Tempest, she said. What? Hearing that, Gazel and others who know her before shouted in surprise. Even Koenji is surprised by her new looks. Things happened and she able to grow up, I said. I see. It's very surprising to see this, said Gazel. Fufufu. Where was I? Yeah. Although, my daughter Ellen seems to trust you a lot, and after seeing that you have humans not only living in Tempest but they also have much higher ranks. I can rest assured that we can trust you, he said, and his party nods. I ask, what are you really here for? I asked him. Hearing that, a bead of sweat appears on his face and he sighed. Looks like you really are sharp. I want to create an equal mutual relationship between our countries. Even the famous King Gazel supports you, he said. Your king approved of this? Asked Honami. Yes. Our queen leave the judgment to me, and I can safely say that we can form alliance without any problems, he said. I see. But remove the term equal from it, I said. Huh? We will form a mutual relationship, not an equal one. You know the difference between these terms. Besides, if you agree then, Tempest is most welcome to form an alliance with Sarian, I said. He make a thinking pose and they start whispering among themselves. After 2 whole minutes, he stand up from his seat and comes towards me. We will gladly accept it, he said. I remain on my seat while shaking his hand. After that, with the help of Rigard and Honami, we discuss many things about this alliance and sign some documents. Now that aside, Rimuru, I want to know the truth behind Pharma's army, said Gazel. I obliterated them, I said. Hearing that, all other people who don't know that widened their eyes in total surprise, while some composed themselves. Haha. As someone expect from another perfect existence like myself, said Koenji. He appears the same on the outside with this trademark smirk, but there is fear inside his eyes, I can see it. What are you gonna do now, Rimuru? Western Holy Church will not silent up on this, but we of Dwargon are in complete support of our allies Tempest, said Gazel. We of Sarian have many connections with the West, which can put us in trouble situation. But we can fake it as a peace treaty between Demon Lord and us, said Elalud. You don't have to worry about it at all. I have things covered, I said. Fufufu he. What do you mean? Oh. Rimuru. As I was explaining the gist of it to them, I saw Veldora coming towards me along with Chiaki and Diablo. Seeing them, the other side confuses and look at me. Who are these two, Rimuru-sama? Asked Albus. Hearing that, Veldora being himself goes into his weird pose with a smirk on his face, and Diablo is watching this all in amusement. I am hoping that he can't spill out something unnecessary, that can cause me problems. He has his one hand on his face and the other is on the side. He is standing in a peripheral way. Only half of his body is visible from the front. Why is he acting like those cliché villains? Kahahaha. Behold. You all are in the presence of the great storm dragon Veldora. Hearing that, Gazel sighed and others, who don't know him before, widened their eyes in complete surprise and give me a look, like I am some kind of psychopath. Gazel looked directly at me in the eyes with a stern look. Rimuru. Explain. He said with a stern voice. There is nothing to explain here, Gazel. He is Veldora, nothing more, nothing less, I said. Then why is he here? I mean Storm Dragon Veldora-sama? Asked Phobio. It's because we are friends. Me and Rimuru, said Veldora while taking a seat on the couch nearby and start reading manga. Rest of the other side look at me in anticipation and I sighed. Geez, they all act like he is some kind of mindless beast. I know that he is an idiot, but did they forgot where they are sitting? Sigh asterisk, yes. What he said is true. You all don't have to worry about anything, as Veldora will not do anything stupid as long as I am here, I said. Well, if you say so, Rimuru-san. Perhaps it is what you were talking about regarding the West, asked Elalude. Yes. I'll put all the blame on Veldora and make his presence known to everyone. The West will be suffice with all this for the time being, I said. And if they try to do something unnecessary, we'll use Veldora-sama influence to make things balanced. Otherwise, another swooping affocating scenario comes, fufufu, said Irisu. The rest nods their heads one by one, filling all the information given to them. Honami speaks out her confusion while looking at me. Rimuru-sama. What about the prisoners and Ryuane-kun and others? She asked. I then looked at her while mentioning for a cake. She give a piece of chocolate cake with a cup of tea. I take a bite from it and the sweet taste of it start melting in my mouth. What do you suggest we do with them? I asked her and the rest looks at her. She makes a thinking pose while putting her index finger on her chin. She takes some time for it and finally answers. I think we should use them to gain some good value from Pharmas. Besides, you must have a plan to use them as you keep them alive for this reason. That's right, I've everything covered. That's the reason I like you, Honami, I said with a smile while looking at her. A blush crept on her face, but she composes herself very quickly, making it unnoticeable. But a keen observer can make it out easily. Chiaki. Bring Ryuane and others here. As you wish, Rimuru-sama. She bowed her head and vanished in an instant. I then looked at Shion while she is looking at me with a very happy mood. Whereas Diablo, who for some reason, looking at me in great anticipation. Looks like the time has come to make some changes. I gestures towards him and everyone looks at him. Everyone. Meet him, the archdemon Diablo. He will be living in Tempest from now on and be helping others, I said. I see. It's that demon from that time. What about his rank and work? Asked Benimaru while he looked at me. For his rank and work. He will be my secretary from now on and will not be in anyone's supervision. He'll be taking orders from me directly and in the same rank as Honami, Irisu and you, I said. Suddenly Shion making a squeeze sound and look at me like a lost puppy. Rimuru-sama. What about me? As from now, you are no longer my secretary. You will be the leader of Yellow Numbers. A new group in military under Benimaru's supervision, I said. At that precise second, the colors of Shion face vanished like fuse and Honami and Shuna looks at her with SUMG faces. There is no reason for that, but Shion is not compatible for the moves I'll be making in the future. She'll hinder many things if I don't do this. Just then Chiaki comes along with Ryuane and others. Ibuki, Albert, Ishizaki don't said anything and stand up quietly without looking at me. Ryuane looks at me with a strange expression and it's hard to read it at the moment. Rest of them are all sitting quietly. You know, Ryuane. Your strategy was quite effective if it weren't for the time dilation, I said to him. Sigh asterisk, I know. I just didn't expect those barriers to be so strong. Besides, the rest is already too far away for me to catch it, he said. I see. So Ryuane. What will you do now? I asked him. He then sighed and looked back at his previous classmates. Albert is standing like a bodyguard without doing anything in particular. Whereas, Ibuki and Ishizaki, given their body movements, are very nervous and are howling it on their faces, while looking down. Ryuane then looks at me with a very strange expression that I've never seen before on his face. I know, what I have done is not something to be forgiven easily and it took a lot of damage to all of you. So, I want you to leave these three alone. And do whatever you want with me, he said and then looked down. He must be very apologetic for all of this, and the other three, including my old schoolmates, are looking at him in surprise. Then all the eyes turn towards me, and Gazel is the one who is waiting for my answer. I can tell by the intensity of his stare on me. All you said is true, and it did turn out to be quite sketchy overall. But, like I said, there's no need to be that intensive. I have everything covered, I said. So, what will you do, Rimuru? Asked Gazel. I'm going to change pharmas. So Ryuane, do you want to rule that country? Kufufufu. When I said this, everyone widened their eyes in surprise, but soon their expression turned into a confusion one. Only Diablo is chuckling to himself as we both discuss all this way before. When I was explaining all this to him and getting useful information, Ryuane wore a smirk immediately and come back to his normal self. Kukuku, just like I thought. You are some crazy monster. That's my goal. I'm in. Hey, that's not a way to talk to Rimuru-sama, said Shion. Looks like she's not happy with Ryuane's attitude like some others. There's no need to be mad. You're talking to future king of pharmas here. Ryuane, just follow Diablo led and he'll take care of the rest, I said. Kufufu, you can leave it to me, Rimuru-sama. There'll be no need to worry about anything. I'll take care of everything and dethor that kingdom in no time, he said with a smirk, which looks like a very evil one. But how will you do all that, Rimuru? Asked Gazel. Are you planning to use that old king man? Asked Koenji, who was also thinking the scenarios. I put my finger to my mouth with a smirk on my face and look at them. There's nothing to be worried about. Be a good spectator and enjoy all the show, I said. So Jello, we have caught up with the latest chapter of this story, and we will have to wait for the next chapter.